Oh, hello there, everybody out on the internet. It's Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide time. It is yet another Warring Triads matchup. This time we are in the bracket round of this event, where if the teams don't win their best of three, they've got to move on home. My name is TheSchwanz27. I'm joined in the commentary booth by Joker Mage. Joker Mage, how are we doing tonight?
Just really, really great. This is we spent the last 6 weeks in the group stage sort of strategizing and trying to work out the best way to just proceed, and sometimes even being able to take a loss if it meant the long-term strategy is more viable. There's none of that going on now. This is brackets. It's win or go home.
Yeah, and we are going to be doing Poltergeist Fury, if you couldn't tell, based on the giant graphic that's on your screen. But what does that actually mean for our runners? Well, let's take a look. We start off with 3 characters, and we need to get to 7 characters and 9 espers, not 10. So let me adjust that goal there. Thank you very much. And we are going to get 4 dragons for auto haste or auto safe. If we go to the Coliseum and get a win, we get a Dragoon set. So that is a pair of Dragoon boots, a Dragon Horn, and a high tier spear. We get to sequence break in this flag set with YNPC set to remove, as well as having multi-summon available for us. The shops and chests are actually more random, which means that you're more likely to encounter better stuff in the shops and in the chests. You are going to be missing, however, some ice, bolt, and stop spells, and we are going to only be able to learn fire spells and Merton for this seed, and most importantly as well, we will not be able to learn stop, which will be very, very interesting for us, because that, my friends, is the weakness of the spicy chicken there. And our item rewards are going to be relics, along with a flame shield and a mega elixir as well. So, that is Poltergeist Fury flags. GreenMonkey's feed must have dropped. Did he reset his game? I'm going to go find that out. Oh, there he is. Hi there again. So on the left, representing Team Valiant with the greenish slate, is OverSwarm, and on the right-hand side with the normal blue with the white trim, we've got GreenMonkey. So, Joker Mage, what are you going to be looking out for with the race here today?
Well, I don't want to put you on the spot, but first of all, GreenMonkey looks like he's changing stuff around. But do we know what their individual win rankings were from group stage by any chance?
I could certainly find that out for you. Let's see here.
Because this is another part of the whole strategy. Strategy is you're going to be up against, in the group stage, you're pretty much up against the same teams over and over again.
Right.
This is the first time that they're going to be actually playing people outside of their group teams.
Yeah, so OverSwarm did mention that he has not won a Poltergeist Fury race yet. I think so Team Valiant was the team that was in my group, and I ended up defeating him in one of the Poltergeist Fury races, and he must have lost his other one at some point here. GreenMonkey, it looks like, has... let's see. GreenMonkey has 2 wins out of the 6 weeks, and let me go ahead and mark down what OverSwarm has. So he did beat me during the Doom session, and he did beat Jack for Goddess's Edict, but lost to Hefe for Poltergeist's Fury 1 week, and then the next week was able to come back and defeat Jackamus in Doom's Rage, but lost to myself in Poltergeist Fury. So it looks like he was either 3-3 or 4-2. Yeah, 3-3 overall. So very close for both of our runners here. And that's going to be interesting because they again did not fight one another in the quote unquote regular season, right? The group stage.
Yeah, but as you said, OverSwarm has yet to win one of the Poltergeist Furies. How is GreenMonkey's Poltergeist Fury?
Let's let's see here. He didn't mention anything about it, so I'm going to assume that he won at least one of them here. And it looks like we might be off and going here.
Well, that's a realm start, so that's pretty good.
We at least have realm. The GreenMonkey did win one of his Poltergeist Fury matchups, and we also have Celeste and Umaro to go along with our realm. Realm with X magic and Celeste with control, so we're not really getting helped out very much here by our characters' abilities, but we'll see what we find along the way. And GreenMonkey is heading into the World of Ruin, Narsh. Remember, we have YNPC set to remove, so we can sequence break in to get that Curse Shield. That's going to be somewhere between 11 and 20 battles, and we can get what's in the Narsh weapon shop, normally locked by lock. And meanwhile, OverSwarm in the Returner's hideout here, so we'll see what he grabs along the way.
Yeah, control is not usually a really great one, but it does have some very early game utility, because there's times where if you need that first grind fight to go your way, control can make that grind fight slightly easier. But generally, once you have better options for offense or defense even, control is not something you want to have sticking around.
Yeah, so it looks like GreenMonkey is 1-1 in Poltergeist Fury flag sets during the group round. So both of our runners, looking to eke out a W here, and we do get a choice between an Esper and a very expensive gem box. Since we already have X magic on Realm, we might as well pick up that Esper there. So GreenMonkey's on the board. I did not see if he picked up the Curse Shield to see what count it was. Did he pick it up?
I did not catch that myself, but yeah, that gem box is just some additional funds, whereas the Stray is both like progression and some potential power, depending on what's actually on that.
Yeah, so
we do have earrings in the South Figaro Relics shop, so that's a great find, especially for Realm.
Yeah, Realm is one of those characters that will normally utilize her magical capabilities with the highest base magic stat in the game, and without having, some sort of physical offense in terms of the ability that we've got there, it looks like we are going to pick up some earrings just so that Realm can potentially cast some magic later. Again, magic gets a nerf in these Warring Triads flag sets because we don't have 2 of the 3 elemental magics available to you, but in Poltergeist Fury, at least you get access to fire magic and Merton, so I think that one is a bit of a relief there. Meanwhile, GreenMonkey resets out of the Monster in a Box, didn't really like what he saw in there, and is going to loot World of Ruin South Figaro here.
That was just a Spectre, so was probably hoping for offering Katana Soul, but yeah, just a Spectre.
Yeah, the nice thing about having Stray early on is it will Stray, the Esper Summon does basically confuse, so it's really nice to have early on, but with Umaro in the party, he sort of puts a dent into confusing your enemies, because anytime he goes, he's just going to do his Yeti Smash, and that's not what we want him to do there.
And so Stray would also affect the Katana Soul, which is one of the weaknesses of Katana Soul, correct?
Yes, that is correct. So Stray, nice to have, looking for Katana Soul here. Alright, so where is OverSwarm heading next? Keeping in the world of balance here, whereas GreenMonkey is continuing on the World of Ruin. I don't think either one of our runners has gone downstairs in South Figaro to check Celeste's Figaro basement spot.
Yeah, that's a pretty expensive Suzanne Thief buy there, 62,000.
The prompt did say it was a shiny stone, correct? So we know that that's an Esper there at least. So that's some good information for later on. And oh boy!
Yeah, that's where you want to be spending your 60K. Getting a few Illuminas probably instead.
Yeah, so Celeste can naturally equip those Illuminas, and Realm can also equip them in this flag set, or this seed rather as well. There is a 33% chance that non-vanilla equipables can do it. So
that does make the gem box more valuable, since you can sell the gem box to get closer to buying Illuminas.
yeah. So if we do eventually get Terra, we can go pick up that gem box behind the Welk spot, because remember, that was the item that was not chosen at the Norse weapon shop. I would have went with the Esper for sure, hands down. And it looks like GreenMonkey is going to take off the Moogle Charm and do some grind fights here in the South Figaro basement. And oh no, I told OverSwarm to disable his ads before the stream. I guess he didn't listen to me. So we're gonna watch GreenMonkey here for a little bit. Sorry about that, everybody.
And one of the benefits of doing the Y remove is that you get to go through you can actually take out that one NPC that's blocking sort of the right-hand exit in South Figaro, and actually go through the underground, the basement area in reverse, which is something I know that Saberwolf likes doing.
Yeah, so GreenMonkey actually using this control here. Unfortunately, when control doesn't have a spell attached to it, it's very, very weak. One of the better things about control is you basically get to remove that enemy from attacking your own team, but this fight is a pretty weak one, although GreenMonkey's team is also severely weak, so not exactly ideal here.
Yeah, I mean, the ideal time for control is like when you have a single really powerful enemy that you can just wail on, and the control doesn't get broken because you're not doing any attacks to actually break control. You can, like, I think like there's the like Gigantos fights where they basically just throat jab you every chance they get, but if you have control and some way to damage them without breaking that control, that's basically just free XP at that point.
All right, and we've got OverSwarm back. Hopefully, we didn't miss out too much from what he was doing there.
And this looks like World of Ruin.
Yeah, so maybe he's gonna do the dip into the South Figaro basement like GreenMonkey has here. I'm gonna go check and see if maybe he got something while we were off screen. Nope, he's still got 3 characters and no Espers, so he has not done the sequence break into the Norse weapon shop yet. That was really the main thing I was looking for there. But both runners are going to converge down here in the basement of South Figaro, both in the World of Ruin. Coincidentally enough, after OverSwarm looted the World of Balance, you can loot both of the South Figaros on the outside, but the chests in the basement are quote-unquote shared, so you can only loot them once. And hey, there's another character, and wow, what a character!
Yeah, throw is great, and especially we did see a ninja star, but there's other stuff you can throw, and just buying a bunch of cheap shurikens can put Setzer online pretty quickly. And again, he's also one of those ones that are guaranteed to be able to equip fixed dice. So if you do pull fixed dice offering, that is some potential damage dealing for later on.
Yeah, so I don't think we saw a condemned counter over one of GreenMonkey's characters when he took that grind fight, so I suspect that curse shield count was a bit too rich for GreenMonkey's blood here, and he's not going to go on uncursing it. We'll see if he decides to head over to the Colosseum with having Umaro in order to potentially get some stuff out of the Colosseum there, along with the Dragoon set. And there you go, some elemental skeins for sale in the shop here. That is definitely something that Setzer can put to good use.
Now, under this flag set, are there any Espers that potentially teach Ultima, or is it Curse Shield is the only path to Ultima?
Nope, it's not just the Curse Shield. You can learn Ultima from an Esper. You can only learn Ultima at a 1x rate, however, so it's something that is going to be difficult to learn and get online, but it is available.
Unless you plan on hunting dragons.
That is true, because dragons in this flag set will give 50 MP, so if you take 2 dragons, then you can learn the spells for Ultima. And it looks like GreenMonkey is going to take his early levels and head into the Coliseum to see what he can win here.
Now, is this going to be a loaded Coliseum or a completely dead one?
Ooh, there's an economizer, speaking of Ultima. For a smoke bomb?
For a smoke bomb, that's probably one of the best.
Armor is also not too bad. You could, if at the very least, you could buy a couple smoke bombs and then flip this into, say those Illuminas. But unfortunately, GreenMonkey hasn't seen the Illuminas yet, and OverSwarm has. And it looks like he's going to head directly over to Setzer's check here. One thing interesting to note, Joker Mage, the Tizen Thief in the World of Ruin is around 19,000, so that's much more palpable there in order to get your fix for Espers.
Genji Glove at the cafe check.
Yeah, so that's a dead check, but that is a relic that might come in useful, especially, like we mentioned, OverSwarm knows that there are Illuminas for sale in the World of Balance. South Figaro, I believe, was the shop we found them in? Or is that World of Balance?
I think it might have been to Zen.
Okay. Alright, both of our runners picking up those Genji gloves there, and it looks like OverSwarm's going to start selling off a bunch of stuff. Thank you, Lord Goober, for confirming it was to Zen. Selling off a bunch of stuff, because he's going to go back to South Figaro and presumably go pick up those Illuminas for Celeste. And here's an interesting trick that GreenMonkey's showing off. You could talk to that guy that's walking around fast in Kolingen, and he actually puts you back on the airship if you say, hey, I want to change my party around. And that's actually faster than walking out and hitting A and getting back in your airship. So a slight time save there from GreenMonkey. Nice little micro optimization from him. And just as we suspected, here it is, to the weapon shop. I don't think he's got enough for another one of those. Oh, he's got 2 Genji gloves. Maybe he might sell one of them.
There's probably plenty of other stuff you can sell here if you're willing to just spend the time doing it.
Yeah, that's part of the problem, though, is you have to be willing to part with some stuff that you might not want to yet. Elixirs sell for around 10,000 most of the time, but you also kind of want them for, sort of the final fights at the end there. And it looks like OverSwarm is going to check the Coliseum now, now that he's got a person that can swing an Illumina with Celeste. Meanwhile, GreenMonkey is in Jador, so I assume that this is an Owser's Mansion play here. Ooh, Ice Rods for sale. Be good to pick up at least one of those, because remember, we are not going to learn any ice spells in this seed. Only fire spells, so no
looks
ice,
like GreenMonkey
no thunder either.
Just sold the Curse Shield.
Yes.
I'm not sure if I saw that correctly, but it looks like that.
Yeah, so the Curse Shield is worth a couple $1,000, and if you're not going to uncurse it, you might as well get something for it, right? So, looks like he's going to be selling this off, and he's going to buy himself a fat stack of these ice rods here. He could buy 4 of them, so really nice to...
and as you mentioned, I don't think he knows about the Illumina into Zen, correct?
That is correct. He has not been in the World of Balance to Zen. He was only in the world... No, he didn't even get to the World of Ruin to Zen yet.
So I guess that's a question for you. If you had the choice between buying like 3 or 4 ice rods or a single Illumina, which would you go for?
The Illumina will definitely be more beneficial to you long term. The ice rods, however, are something that'll get you through a lot of fights very, very quickly. So 4 of them is really nice as well.
And we did see a Mega Elixir in the mansion pot there. So that's, just a nice thing to have in your back pocket for later on.
Yeah, nice little instant death proc there from Realm with that Wing Edge. So it looks like we have Realm using Wing Edge. We've got Celeste with Illumina. And Setzer is jumping with something. I'm not quite sure exactly what it is. And Yeti Smash, of course. Just doing a little bit of grinding to get some levels underneath his belt here before heading on into the Coliseum, and we'll see what kind of goodies there are for OverSwarm. Meanwhile, Boots and Horn are being used by Realm for GreenMonkey.
Just see the economizer.
Yeah, that seems like it's the only thing that really jumped out at me. There is a merit award in there, which might be worth it, because merit award will allow you to equip those heavy items such as Illuminas, so that might be an interesting play for OverSwarm if he decides to go for it here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great way to raise money for more Illuminas, is just buy a bunch of smoke bombs, have Umar go to town, and then sell back the economizers.
Yeah, I also saw a Thunder Shield in the list too. We'll see if OverSwarm decides to pick it up. It will not let him learn Bolt 2, but you can definitely crack that over the head of a boss for some really good damage.
And we have just Ultros here at the end of Owner's Mansion. And we saw that was a ghost sprite, so that means it's not a character. It might still be an Esper, though. Ultros 1 goes down very quickly, as often happens with Ultros 1.
Yeah, I like doing Owner's Mansion early. There's at least 2 forced encounters. You can take more if you really want to. So it's a nice way to get levels underneath you within your first check. And unfortunately, it's only an offering. So now we're really going to be looking for a fixed dice for Setzer to use, maybe if he's not happy with throw, or maybe some other item, Valiant Knife, weapon.
I mean, you said only an offering, but that means we don't have to be hunting monster in the boxes anymore.
Uh-oh. Snagged out of the sky is OverSwarm. Thank goodness it's just leader. So this will be interesting, because you can do Search the Skies for this with having Setzer. So this isn't necessarily a check that GreenMonkey's not going to be able to do. But I don't think that OverSwarm wanted to take that boss right then and there.
Then again, that is an Esper.
Yeah, anytime you get a shiny stone, why not? And that's Crusader for his efforts. And GreenMonkey is now in World of Balance South Figaro. So he's going to loot, I think, on the outside of this part, and then we'll see where he decides to go for his next check. So we have both of the things up the World of Ruin Narsh, where we have the Tritox spot and the Yeti Cave. We've got the Magitech Factory, which is 3 parts, and the Opera House Disruption. And that's another Esper there for OverSwarm, Kieran from the Tizen Thief. Interestingly enough, you could actually YNPC remove the woman in front of the collapsing house and go into the collapsing house without Sabin. And there's an enhancer.
Unfortunately, the only thing you can do, I believe, is just loot the chest, because the boy doesn't show up unless Sabin's you've actually triggered the event, if I can recall.
That is correct. So you cannot get the reward. However, you could still go get the monster in a boxes in there and potentially get some loot that your opponent might not get, because they might not realize that that is available to get. Alright, OverSwarm going back and buying yet another Illumina. So, very smart. Selling off all those selling off all those economizers. Meanwhile, GreenMonkey is going to take this shed fight. It's a random battle. And after it, you could talk to that woman, and you'll get a free heal. So really nice heads-up play here from GreenMonkey, knowing where his overworld heals are, not wasting anything.
This fight is another one where I actually really like control, because you can control the junks to blow up the other junks.
Yeah. Having them exploder you is never fun, because Realm just misses out on that XP there.
Having them exploder each other using control is perfectly fun.
Yes.
I think there's a few other enemies that have self-destructs that you encounter them in more than one, and you just control one to self-destruct it into the other one, and you're done.
All right, life 3 on that Esper and speed +1, magic power +1, and fire 2 on that other Esper. So pretty decent Espers off the start there for OverSwarm. We have not seen what GreenMonkey's Espers look like, but he did buy 86 shurikens, which is about 56 too many for a seed. But
at
least you won't run out.
And there's usually other fun things you can throw later on too. So it's not like you can just limit yourself with shurikens. Sometimes you can just, got a spare Valiant knife around you might want to throw.
Yeah, I think he also picked up some ninja stars, which are more expensive but do a lot more damage. And it was 12 battles for that curse shield, so one more than the minimum, but still too much for GreenMonkey there.
And I just want to clarify that was a joke on my part. Don't throw your Valiant knives.
Hey, listen, if you're not using it in Final Kefka, you can't bring the Valiant knife with you when you win, right? So you
I
might
mean,
as well need it.
I almost would feel like you might want to just sell it and buy a bunch of cheaper stuff to throw.
All right, so OverSwarm just picked up 3 pieces of progression, right? He bought to Zen Thief. He bought, or rather, got the Norsh weapon shop with YMPC remove, and got that offering as well from Kolonjin. So he's increased the scaling a lot here before fighting this boss. Remember, he did kill Leader in the sky, but Leader doesn't give very much XP. So we'll see how this fight goes. And meanwhile, GreenMonkey finds Tap Dancer and Marshall over in the Magitech factory. Ooh, and this is a nasty fight here. The Blue Durgan saying no to 3/4 of the team, and with Umaro being the only one left, that's going to be a reset there.
Yeah, that's not like Blue Dragon's one of the more annoying ones unless you happen to have a lot of lightning spells, and as you know, we don't have a lot of lightning spells in this particular seed.
We do have bolt edges though, which is really nice. Throw is really great utility in the Warring Triads because of the potential of getting different types of elemental protection. All of a sudden, OverSwarm's volume went way up, and this is number 24, thank goodness.
Yeah, so we got the budget Magimaster, and GreenMonkey found Shout at the trash compactor check.
Thank you. I totally missed that, so appreciate you seeing that one.
And Shout's another pretty good one to have for endgame because you can use Shout to cast the break spell on Long Arm in Tier 1, I believe.
Little hidden Thunder Shield there at the Magitech factory.
Well, I mean, that's another answer for that Blue Dragon.
Oh, wow. Life 3, Magic Power +2 on that Shout. Stray teaching us Bio, which is not a great spell, but in Warring Triads, it's certainly better. And oh no, it's a travesty. We got the upgrade. Oh boy. Yeah. So now it's time to put in work with those shurikens, and this is what I would do for Magimaster. Use my hardest hitting elemental spell first, and that's going to be cracking this Fire Rod, and then we're just going to go to town using Throw and hope that Umaro does a body slam or two here and there. I think that was an Esper at Tritalk as well from OverSwarm, so he's up to 4 now.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting seeing like both the number 24 boss and the number 24 sprite on this screen at the same time, but turns out that number 24 sprite was actually the big brother.
Alright, so round 2 with the Blue Durgan here. We'll see if OverSwarm survives the initial attack. And he does survive the AoE, so he might be in the clear here.
Yeah, throw the Thunderblade.
Alright, Magimaster still up for GreenMonkey. Has got to use Throw and hope for a Yeti Body Slam here. I think that's the only way that he can attack Magimaster for any sort of damage here.
Oh, that throws temporarily off the table.
Oh, he's just going to go for it. Going to see if maybe he can get lucky with this Ice Rod. The problem is, Magimaster will heal one element too. So we'll see if that goes. And oh no! Why did I have to say it? Why did I say it? Oh man.
So is there any way like you are able to reorganize that to take that particular fight, or do you just want to warp out now?
You might want to put some defensive gear on your Setzer, because you know that Setzer is going to be the only character that's going to be able to damage Magimaster in this fight. So this Thunder Shield that he picks out of this cubby hole there, I would put on Setzer, just to give him some extra elemental protection, and then hope that... Oh, GreenMonkey's just going to say, forget it, no thank you, and keep going through the Magitech factory. That's another way to deal with it, is just not deal with it. I didn't even consider that possibility, but that's why GreenMonkey is still in the Warring Triads tournament, and I am not.
But that does mean that the whatever reward was there is not going to be available to GreenMonkey, correct?
That is correct. He will not be able to get that reward unless he comes back in and goes all the way back to the number 24 spot.
But that can only be an item or an Esper at that spot, correct?
That is correct. And it's an item at the carving. Oh! It's an experience egg.
Yeah, that would be pretty useful. We're still early enough, I think, that you can get some value out of it.
Yeah, I agree. Put that on Setzer, because he's going to be doing throw. Or maybe put that on Celeste with the Genji
Ultra's 4.
I agree with him taking this fight for the experience egg. This fight, however, will not give any experience, coincidentally enough, but I think it's still early enough, like you mentioned, Joker Mage, to take this fight here.
Yeah, and this fight's not terribly difficult. Just hit Chuban as hard as you can, so he still gets an allergic reaction and sneezes you all away.
This is a pretty dangerous fight here for GreenMonkey, but he's going to use control on that Enoch, and Enochs usually turn your characters berserk, so nice heads-up play there to know which one of the enemies is way more dangerous than the other.
Yeah, control, like I said, control isn't always seen as the most valuable ones, but it does have its utility, especially when you're up against something that's way more powerful than your party.
Alright, so OverSwarm finished with the Umaro checks, so that was 1 experience egg and 1 Esper, as well as the dragon dropping the offering, and it looks like he's going over to Daryl's tomb here, so going to round out his Setzer checks, because remember, he accidentally ran into Leader in the Sky, and very quickly he is running out of checks to do here.
I don't think we've seen Esper Mountain yet.
Yeah, we haven't seen Esper Mountain, we haven't seen Opera House Disruption. We don't exactly know what the second reward was, because GreenMonkey went ahead and YMPC removed it out of the way. And we haven't seen what Kefka at Norsh might be. But
yeah, I mean, among all those, I kind of feel like the one I would want to do is Esper Mountain.
Esper Mountain is really quick, however, you can also peek it, which is why I tend to usually leave it for a little bit later on, because it's fast and it's peekable. And GreenMonkey with those ice rods here against Ifrit is probably going to one-shot Ifrit here. So thank you very much. That is why you pick up those ice rods there.
Yeah, this is a much simpler fight than the Magimaster.
Alright, so we're going to see what's at the end here of Daryl's tomb. I think both of our runners have offerings, right? So there's no reason for them to dig in any monster in a boxes here. And
unless you want a second one.
That is true. And remember, Katana Soul also drops a hell of a lot of money, too.
Which is what you can use to buy that third Illumina.
Alright, OverSwarm putting on the Curse Shield with the ribbon here, and we do have a Moogle at the end of the Magitech factory, which is really nice because remember, we've got that Boots and Horn.
That was a slot Moogle, so at this point, I don't know how valuable slot is. I know, like, again, it's one that in the early game can get you through some stuff, but tends to drop off later on.
Yeah, slot is really nice for AoE attacks against, like, mobs that you're doing grind fights with, and good for non-elemental damage in a pinch, but 1 Ice Rod is going to take out Rexol there. GreenMonkey getting dividends out of those rods that he picked up earlier in the seed. Meanwhile, Inferno is the boss here for OverSwarm. I did not see what the epitaph on the tomb read, so
right.
we'll be surprised when we're out of here. And Mog is going to be our boots and horn jumper for GreenMonkey here, sending Umaro to the bench.
Yeah, that makes sense since Mog can naturally clip spears.
Chat coming in and said Cyan rests here, so that's going to be our 5th character for OverSwarm. Thank you so much, chat, for hooking us up with your help. Many eyes are better than our 4.
Yeah, and that means we got some possible seed divergence going on here, because there could be 2 separate paths, one following Cyan, the other following Mog.
So interesting thing to note is that Mount Zozo is actually one of those checks that you can sequence break. You do not need to have it. And OverSwarm's checking some equipables here to see if maybe Cyan can be useful. And of course, he is not useful. Can't use the Aura Lance or the Illuminus. So he's going to stay on the bench for Umaro. Meanwhile, GreenMonkey... I'm sorry, go ahead.
However, that does open up Cyan's checks, which are usually valuable.
Yeah, so Cyan's other 2 checks, the Doma Siege and the Dream, are great. Dream is multi-part, and... Oh, there is Ultima, I believe, on an Esper there. If I read that correctly.
So we can get some value out of those economizers. Other than just selling them for Illuminas, that is.
Yeah, it looks like GreenMonkey's going to lean into these Mog checks. Meanwhile, OverSwarm is going to get his 2nd of 4 dragons in order to get auto haste and auto safe. Probably wants to also get Realm to learn Ultima, so that's probably why this is happening here.
Yeah, economizer Ultima on a character with sufficient magic power is definitely one of those ways to answer the questions of how are we going to deal with the statues.
That is correct. We do have shuffled statues in Kefka's Tower as part of all of the Warring Triads flag set. So our runners are constantly thinking in the back of their mind about that. And unfortunately, GreenMonkey, taking a look around in World of Balance, Narsh, not going to find those Illuminas, but does find some Thunder Rods, and it's going to pick up a couple of them as well. Oh no, Realm down for the count on that red dragon, is not going to learn Ultima, and is not going to uncurse that shield either. That's you hate to see it happen there, moment.
And GreenMonkey's trying to decide to sell some stuff to the weapon shop. I'm not sure what he found.
Thunder Rods.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and he does have Mog, so that means Lone Wolf is available, which means this will be our first search look at the Kefka and Narsh fight too.
Yep, so Lone Wolf is a choice between something and a high tier item. So we'll see what GreenMonkey decides to go for here. And OverSwarm is going to lean into the dragons now and take the Mount Zozo check, because he both can grab a dragon for his 3rd dragon and a reward at the end of the check as well. Alright, that's an imp at Kefka at Narsh. And another imp at Lone Wolf. Let's see here. What's the choice? Genji Glove? Well, we already have 2 of them, so we're going to pick the imp here. And we're going to let Lone Wolf fall to his death. Interesting thing to note, as you see on the bottom, Kefka Tower skipped for this seed 8 characters, 11 Espers, or 24 checks. So I assume, Joker Mage, that our runners will probably look for either an 8th character or an 11th Esper before they do 24 checks. And it is Dirk Durgan here for OverSwarm, not being nice right off the rip with a quarter spell. Dirt Dragon is weak to water, so if we have water edges from Setzer, that would be nice, but you know what else is nice? A couple of Illumina procs here. Oh! Umaro biting the dust there. Alright, so we are at Kefka at Norsh here, and that is a good time to strip off Umaro of all of his things, because the Snow Muffler is something that we actually want. We know that Mog can naturally equip it at the very least. We'll see if there's anybody else that can use it. Meanwhile, OverSwarm gets his third dragon out of the way, and that is a gem box, so that will go to fuel the war machine. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, that gem box will fuel the war machine of more Illuminas for OverSwarm.
I was about to say the same thing. Stunner in the box, and then that's just an item there that was been posing as a missing boyfriend.
Yeah, we'll see which one of our relics or whatever or not. And it's time for Atma.
Yeah, this is like the soap opera kind of cuts where they like go to commercial break right at the cliffhanger.
It's like watching a home improvement show and you're gonna find out who the winner is. Not today. Ooh, almost got the sun flare off of the slots there. Alright, it looks like GreenMonkey is still going to use Realm with the Aura Lance for jumping. I'm surprised he hasn't transferred that over to Mog yet. But we also haven't really found any great spells, to be honest with you, either. He has not found that Esper with Ultima on it. And I think his greatest spell is probably either Bio or maybe Fire 2 at the moment, but not great stuff. But does get past Atma at Kefka at Norsh, so we'll see what the reward is here for this one. Oh, that's a nice Esper to find. That is Siren. That's very useful for final Kefka there.
Okay, going straight into Moogle defense, it looks like. This is always risky. Oh, that's a shadow, though. But like I was saying, it's risky because if you have to reset out of this, then it looks like GreenMonkey actually did reset. Oh, no, wait.
I'm sorry, that was my fault. I was trying to get OverSwarm back, and I accidentally sent GreenMonkey away. But it looks like Shadow on the ground, if I'm not mistaken, Joker
Yep.
H.
We saw Shadow falling into the pitfall. But again, like I was saying, this is a bit risky because if that boss is unfriendly and you have to take a loss and reset out, that means you did not save after that Kefka and Narsh fight either. That's a pretty decent Siren, too.
Is that level magic there in the Opera House disruption? I mean, it will allow Realm to learn that Ultima, but it's not going to get, as you see it there, but it will not get any XP for Realm, which is what she desperately needs after falling victim to the Dirt Dragon prior.
GreenMonkey very carefully dodges all of the army to get right at Ghost Train. If we have any lightning rods left, this should not be a problem.
Yeah, so in the vanilla game, you could actually just use a Phoenix Down or Revivify on Ghost Train, but in Worlds Collide, we toggle the undead property of this boss to say, keep it not undead. So you can kill it with like Doom or some sort of instant death, but I don't think we have access to it. However, Big Thunder
I called
Rod.
it. Yeah, this is the perfect enemy to just have those extra Thunder Rods for. Here's another one you might want the extra Thunder Rods for, but we instead have Ultima, so that works too.
Yeah, that Ultima Economizer is going to be coming online now, and wow, that Celeste is just putting in damage. The power of...
That is a Blitz Shadow.
The power of the Illumina. Yeah, isn't it unfortunate that you have to beat the Ghost Train to get the Blitz user? No train suplexes this seed, folks. Actually, that's not true. If we get Sabin and do the Phantom Train check, you can go back in the Phantom Train and fight the Ghost Train to actually suplex your train. But I don't think we're going to see that happen in this race, because it's a lot of wasted time for absolutely nothing. It is Raiden there from the Opera House disruption. So what does OverSwarm have left? He's got Cyan's Dream. He's got Doma Siege. He's got, I think, both realm checks, because we haven't seen Esper Mountain yet. And we also have
Magitech, obviously.
Magitech, yep, which at the end is where we know Mog is. And Mog leads to Shadow at the very least with Blitz.
Yeah, so depending on what is at science checks, this could have, like, just two totally separate paths.
Alright, so let's see. GreenMonkey parking outside of Gao Manor, and it is a soldier, so this is not a character here. Just the dragon horn there for GreenMonkey.
Yeah, that's probably, at this point, the least interesting thing, because you've already got one of those from your Dragoon set.
Yeah, so OverSwarm has 13 checks compared to GreenMonkey's 8. So OverSwarm's enemies are going to be 12 levels higher than GreenMonkey's are, which is quite a ridiculous spread in leveling. And here we go, just like you said, a new character from a Cyan check, and that is Edgar with natural jump. Oh my goodness. The jackpot.
Yeah, that's kind of what you want, is Spear User with jump already, because now you can just put on Dragonhorn and Gauntlet instead.
Alright, meanwhile, GreenMonkey is at the cave in the Veldt, I think? So this is yet another shadow check, just leaning into the checks from the new characters that he's gotten, and it's another Ultros sighting on
That is
OverSwarm's
Ultros 3, because we've already seen 4.
And I think we've seen 1 as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
GreenMonkey. And that's an Esper on the ground there. So we're going to continue on with this check here. Yeah, so OverSwarm's party is pretty set right now. Realm with that Ultima Economizer, Celeste with the Genji Glove, 2 Illuminas, and then his pair of jumpers. So, nice way to round out his party.
If you're a GreenMonkey, how much are you willing to do floating continent at this point?
I would have done it immediately, because you're guaranteed 2 pieces of progression there, and in this Warring Triads flag sets, dead checks really hurt you a lot. So anytime I know that I can get progression, I'm going to favor it versus just a crapshoot.
And it looks like we're going to be seeing just the Edgar loop. So engine room to throne room to underground ancient castle.
Yeah, this makes sense, because OverSwarm is 1 dragon away from getting auto-safe and auto-haste, so it makes sense to try and do a dragon in some of the checks that you already have available to you. So this is a great play. Meanwhile, Funbaba here for GreenMonkey, and we do have Bio, so that is how he is trying to attack the problem. And it is little bro Sabin here at the engine room, so we possibly still have 2 divergent paths through the seed. We can definitely get to 8 characters, I'll tell you that much. It just depends on if our runners can get to the 8 characters themselves. And Funbaba being kind of rude to Setzer there.
Yeah, we've already seen 9 characters. And so kind of in, I guess we're going to see like what is at the end of these checks for GreenMonkey too.
Unicorn the Esper for GreenMonkey, and Dr. DT with a 24-month, that's 2 years for those of you that can math, subscription to our channel with the question, Sabin, Sabin, Sabine? It's definitely Sabin. But
It's
definitely a question worth pondering. But more importantly, thank you so much for the support. We will be donating the money that we get in from your Twitch subs and donations towards our next charity marathon. It happens to be on Saturday, March 16th. Is that the correct Saturday? Let's see. Let me double check. Yeah, Saturday, March 16th, noon Eastern, will be our co-op multi-thon. And then we also have one at the end of the month, the last Friday in March, the 29th. That is for Randothon. Instant death proc for Senor Behemoth, so...
Yeah, and just to clarify, it's spelled Sabin, but it's pronounced Throat Wobbler Mangrove.
Alright, so where's GreenMonkey going here? It looks like he might be going towards... Nope. I completely underestimated where he's going. So he already did Owser's Mansion. Oh, he's getting more rods. Let's see what's on the throne here for OverSwarm. That's another Esper. So he takes the lead with both characters and shiny stones.
Yeah, he only needs 3 more Espers for his Kefka fight. And where is he as far as checks for his skip?
He's at 16 checks. GreenMonkey is at 10 checks. I think
that's 24. The character's got to be the way to get his power skip, right?
Yeah, as you mentioned, we already know where 10 different characters are, right?
Something like that. There's a lot
9
of
different
characters available.
We know where 9 different characters are. So yeah, there's definitely enough available here.
But they're not like I don't think any of them are at particularly difficult checks. It's just a matter of are you going to go and actually go back that direction once you've gotten what you need.
Alright, so here's an interesting play. OverSwarm is short-circuiting out of Ancient Castle. I would have thought that he would have continued on to Ancient Castle to get his 4th dragon, but he decides that he wants to do Cyan's Dream, hoping for 3 Espers. So you do get all of the sword techs for completing Cyan's Dream. I don't know if he has a sword tech user. No.
He shouldn't. I don't think we've seen anyone with sword tech yet.
I mean, I wasn't quite sure what Sabin's ability was, or if we've even seen it.
Yeah. Like, that'd be the only possibility right now, because Edgar's jump, I think Setzer is throw.
That's correct. And
Realm has control, I think, or no, Realm has X Magic, and Celeste has control.
That's
so
right.
His team, none of his team, at least none of his current team, have sword tech. But I don't think, like, I think Sabin's the only one we haven't seen, and so that'd be the only possibility. But I think this is just a play for Esper count.
Yeah, so Cyan's Dream, the 1st and 3rd checks can only be Esper item, so it makes sense why he's here looking for Espers. The 2nd check is guaranteed progression, so there is a possibility to get all 3 Espers here. GreenMonkey, meanwhile, heading up to the floating continent, so you were asking me before, when do you do this, and GreenMonkey thinks the answer is now.
Now, if there's another character here, which I don't necessarily think is likely, just because we did find a character at Doma Defense, but if there is a character here, that does give OverSwarm his skip.
Yeah, it looks like OverSwarm is still uncursing that shield, so you see even in a 12 battle curse shield, even though it's low, and oh no! Not this fight. GreenMonkey's gonna try this. This is gonna be a wipe here. Because this rod, I don't think is gonna kill either one of those ninjas, and both the ninjas counterattack with throw whenever they're hit. So this is gonna be a wipe, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
Yep. Stop, ninjas, they're already dead. That Madam Outsider fight might be the most difficult of the entire game. The best way to deal with that fight is to use instant death on the ninjas, or attack them one at a time. Don't attack them both at the same time. Because they're
or smoke bomb, right?
Yeah, smoke bomb is the best thing to do. But if you really want to take that fight, attack those ninjas one at a time and use instant death if you can. Because those ninjas are so fast that they most likely will get off their first turn, and their first turn is to always throw stuff at you. And they will counterattack anything with throw. So if you do an AoE attack like that, like an elemental scheme, they're just going to throw 2 more things back at you, and you're going to be dead.
Another ice rod. This one is in the Dream Train. But additionally, we do see GreenMonkey going for round 2 against the Floating Continent, finding an evil Oscar this time. And we also saw very briefly that Search the Skies is still available for GreenMonkey, so he has not found that leader fight.
Yeah, OverSwarm did see a ghost, I think, hopping between train cars. So this is going to be a second Esper for OverSwarm. So his play to short circuit out of Ancient Castle is paying off so far. And GreenMonkey knows that he could take these first 2 fights against the evil Oscars, and then I would think he's just going to run away from that Madam Outsider fight this time, which is the smart thing to do.
If you're OverSwarm, you can get 3 for 3 out of Dome and Dream. Do you go hunting for that 8th character for Skip?
Absolutely, especially with some of the checks that he has, right? I'm taking a look at his tracker. He's got Imperial Camp, which you could peek. He's got Phantom Train, which you could peek. He's got Collapsing House, which you could peek. He's got Esper Mountain, which you could peek. And that's a lot of checks that are peekable. And only one of them has to pay off into a character. And if none of them do, then it is what it is.
Yeah, so far, the only thing we know for certain that would pay off is going to be that the full Magitech facility. But we don't know anything about what's behind Sabin's checks.
Yeah, we haven't done any of Sabin's checks. We still haven't done Esper Mountain either.
And for all we know, there could be another character sitting at the bottom of Ancient Castle.
We also have Doma Siege, too. That's another... Oh, no, we did Doma Siege. I'm sorry. That was Edgar. Yeah. Late-game Guardian doesn't play around. Because OverSwarm's... He's at 17 checks now, so he's getting up towards the maximum scaling of 50. So this is where you have to be careful towards the end of the seed. Because we do have this thing called elemental ability scaling, so the spells that bosses get when they're higher scaled are going to be way harder. And oh no, it's a math check for GreenMonkey, and thankfully he passes it. Could you imagine if he gets past that Madam Outsider fight just to die to Doomgaze? What a kick in the pants.
Yeah, maybe that would prompt him to try Search the Skies though.
Alright, Guardian down here. And it looks like GreenMonkey is going to use some of his rods. Don't use that ice rod. Doomgaze will absorb ice, and you will not enjoy that.
And GreenMonkey is the one who removed the Magi Master, so he knows Magi Master's not in the boss pool anymore.
Yeah, but Doomgaze is probably the second or third worst boss outside of the statue bosses that we could find here.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, based on what GreenMonkey's seen, he already knows that 2 pretty nasty bosses are kind of off the table, which might make checks like Waterfall or Search the Skies, or ones where you just go right into a boss fight. He doesn't have Waterfall, obviously, but he does have Search the Skies.
So that is a third Esper there on the throne. OverSwarm making the correct call there. 3 for 3 with Espers from Cyan's Dream. He's sitting at 19 checks, and it looks like he's going to do what I thought he might do, which is to go do some of these peekable checks here. We'll see if there's a character holding up this house.
Do you reset out of this if it's not a character?
Absolutely. You don't
Looks
really
like,
need anything at
he
this point,
agrees.
right? Your party's set. Edgar is going to be doing jumping with an Aura Lance. Setzer's going to be doing throw. Celeste is going to be doing Illumina Genji Glove. And Realm is doing Ultimate Economizer. You literally don't need anything else. You just need your progression, right? So anything else is just wasting time.
So where's the next place you're going to be checking for a character?
Esper Mountain, and then I would do Imperial Camp, and then I would do Phantom Train, because Phantom Train is the longest of the checks, but it's still faster than walking through the tower.
And that's just an imp, so we're going back out of that.
GreenMonkey did find an Esper there at the top of Floating Continent, so he's going to walk through the second part of the Floating Continent. We'll see if he YMPC removes the second part of Floating Continent. You can do that, however, you don't get the reward. But you can YMPC remove the third part of the Floating Continent, and you do get the reward. So I anticipate that he will not be fighting the last boss here in the Floating Continent. So let's see what this reward is. It's another ghost. Alright, so we got one more, I think, peekable check for OverSwarm, and that's at Imperial Camp. Otherwise, he might just have to go into the tower here. The other thing is, 11 Espers is also a Kefka Tower skip. So, he could go for just 2 more Espers, right? That's still, I think, faster than than
Did he already buy the one into Zen?
Yep, he has. So there, we didn't check if there was one in Auction House, and he still hasn't done any of Magitech Factory. So we know that the first one is an Esper. We don't know what the second one is because it's Magimaster. But OverSwarm decides that he's just going to go in. I don't hate this, but again, I would have done Espers at that point. Because let's see, he's at 19 checks. So his next dragon will give him auto haste and auto safe, but it'll also put him at max scaling. Yeah, and we also saw that Esper Mountain and Collapsing House are both really fast checks, and those could be Espers as well.
There's probably a few other ones, like, depending on what the boss is, the waterfall fight might not be terrible.
Yeah, but the thing is, you don't know what... You can't tell what the answer is, right? Yeah, I agree with you, though.
Like, if you luck out and that's either Esper or a character, then that's one, you're either got your skip or you're one closer to skip. And like I said, if it's not a hard boss, Waterfall's perfectly is a reasonably quick one. Like, the cutscene can be, at the end, can be a little,
obnoxious,
tedious, but it's not terrible as far as cutscenes. So, like, there's definitely longer ones.
Yeah. Alright, so that's hiding in the Hide Knights down for GreenMonkey. As he's making his way through Floating Continent.
Do you just remove the last one no matter what, just because you don't need to actually fight it, or? Yeah,
I definitely do.
Like, if it was earlier, maybe you would fight it for experience or math points, but like this late, definitely not.
Yeah, anytime you don't have to fight a boss. Yeah, and let's see, GreenMonkey's levels are in the mid-30s, it looks like. So his levels are actually not that much lower than OverSwarm's are. And Realm hitting the deck there. Still has not uncursed that shield, by the way.
I mean, that is the curse of the curse shields, that like all your enemies will target the curse shield holder.
Oh, of course. They know.
And here we see all of Leader's cousins. Like, he found Leader family reunion, but as we know, he's too busy searching the skies.
Yeah, this Inferno fight is also not fun either. Chatternook is one of those annoying bosses, counters everything with lightning spells. But it looks like we're getting double cast of Ultima here. So Chad might not be alive for very much longer. Looks like we have access to mute for OverSwarm. So we have mute and instant death. I don't know if we have calmness protection, but we at least have a couple of pieces of the puzzle for him. One thing to note about X Magic is you actually get countered in between your invocations of X Magic. So if this doesn't kill Chatternook, he might take another swipe at Realm, but that does kill Chatternook. First boss of Kefka Tower down, and GreenMonkey goes 3 for 3 on the Floating Continent as well, with another Esper there. So that's number 7. Unless he didn't update his tracker. He might not have updated his tracker. Because I thought I was keeping along very nicely, so we'll see. Alright, where is GreenMonkey going next? Alright, so he's going to hit up Daryl's tomb, so this is going to be Cyan. Or not. Oh. GreenMonkey heading up to the top of, oh god. That Merton. Yeah, so the curse shield count, to answer a question in chat, as Faxis Rel points out, was 12. And Edgar is discombobulated a little bit here.
Is GreenMonkey World of Balance or World of Ruin?
World of Ruin. So he's doing the 2 Yeti checks as OverSwarm takes a wipe there to Skulldurgan. Not something you see every day. But that's what happens when you have a reduced party. All of these bosses are going to hit hard. Yeah, so GreenMonkey, I think, is looking for some dragons here. And he
Find someone...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, find someone you probably don't want to see unless you have Thunder Rods, and
yeah,
he does.
Yeah, he's got Thunder Rods and Bolt Edges, so this should not be a problem here. Yeah, so GreenMonkey will find 1 Esper at Tritalk and then a dead check experience egg at Yeti Cave, and then it's going to be up to him to find that last character, which he unfortunately flew away from when he landed at Daryl's tomb. Jesus the Frog with a question. Do they hit 50 earlier or do they scale to 56? They scale to 56. So the extra levels are always on top of whatever the maximum is. I'm going to look that up just to double check, but I believe that's how it works. The enemy levels will only affect blah blah blah. It doesn't say. It doesn't say on the wiki, which is something we should probably take into consideration for another time. But I believe that your maximum scaling can go beyond your... If you add enemy levels, they can go beyond whatever the maximum is.
Yeah, so OverSwarm is through the Dirt Dragon this time around. Get some Marvel shoes.
Blech. But more importantly, that is his 4th dragon, so we'll have auto haste and auto save, as GreenMonkey is going to pick up his 9th Esper here. So just has to find that last character. Okay, it is here. The maximum level is the maximum an enemy can be scaled to. Note that objective results that add extra levels to enemies can raise their levels above this maximum limit. So, we do have it in the wiki somewhere, it's just not where I thought it was supposed to be. Excuse me, so yeah. Bosses are maximum of 53 and not 50. I've been kind of saying it wrong this whole tournament, but OverSwarm's bosses are now at the maximum scaling of 53, as you guys pointed out in chat, with that 20th check that he just completed there. And he's just got 4 more bosses to go through, but 3 of them, Joker, are the statue bosses.
Yeah, and I guess I'm wondering, like, as GreenMonkey, do you feel behind at this point, or do you think you're still doing, like, a pretty decent pace?
I think he's probably feeling a little behind just because of the mishap on Floating Continent. And, you know, he's also went and done 2 of the longest checks in the game, right? Magitech Factory and Floating Continent. So that, while it gets you levels and it gets you power, it also is a time investment, right? So without having requirements yet, he's probably feeling it a little bit. And now we see him landing outside of Daryl's tomb, so I think this is his go mode here.
Yeah, we saw him go into the tracking menu in the the menu to see what his progress was. So he counted; it did say 16 checks, and so he knows his character count, his expert count, and his check count, and he probably knows that he's far away from a lot of the potential skip options.
Yeah, so let's see. It's hard because I think GreenMonkey does manual tracking and not auto tracking, but he still has not seen Esper Mountain, and he will have all of these cyan checks available to him. So we'll see if he ends up going to one of Cyan's checks. Was it Doma that had the character?
Yeah, it's Doma Defense that has Edgar.
Okay. So I would hope that he would go at least check Doma Defense for his skip, but you know, again, that's a play that I would make, and it's not necessarily one that GreenMonkey might make.
And has OverSwarm's commercial break ended?
Not yet. Alright, I'm looking at his actual stream, and he just beat the Guardian spot, but I didn't get a chance to see what boss it was. Because, of course.
Okay, but he is making pretty steady progress, it sounds like. And GreenMonkey, like, even if he gets through this, is either has to go through the entire tower himself, or still has to, you know, find that Edgar at the defense and then be able to use this skip that way. Have a goddess fight.
Yeah, this is what I'm worried about for OverSwarm. Is this party of Realm and Edgar is probably fine, but his other 2, I'm worried about what they're going to do against their bosses. GreenMonkey does take down Inferno, so he will get his Cyan, so that'll be his KT go mode there. And that's Goddess dead for OverSwarm, so just 2 more bosses to go.
So, as GreenMonkey, do you check any of the... Like, you check defense, right?
I mean, I would, just because the skip is at 8 characters, and it's so fast to just peek that. But then again, if you're feeling behind, I can understand you just saying, I want to get in the tower and go. And it looks like that's what he's doing. He's going to peek Doma Defense. So he's going to get Edgar, and after this fight, he'll be at the Kefka Tower switches. So he will be behind, but not nearly as far behind as he would be without the skip. The question is, does he have enough offense to make up for the time here? GreenMonkey seeing the good news and is going to take this fight here. And it is Ultros 3, and it's a Vanilla Doom for OverSwarm. So having the jumper here is actually pretty good. I was worried that this was going to be the Poltergeist spot, and OverSwarm was going to have to figure something out with Setzer to do. Although Setzer does have throw, right? So that's one thing you can use with Poltergeist.
Alto 3 is down, so that is skip for GreenMonkey.
Yeah, so GreenMonkey will be in the tower right behind OverSwarm here. It looks like he's going to pick up some more rods on his way into the tower. And this is second phase here for Doom on OverSwarm's screen. So, using Cyan with Runic, Doom does not actually cast any magic spells in the second half or the second phase of this fight, except for Force Field, which cannot be runicked. And he also gets the image status as well as the reflect status, so that's why Sabin is missing with every single swing. You do have a 25% chance of breaking image every time you do a physical attack. But Jump doesn't care about the image status, so that's why Setzer is actually able to do some damage in this part of the fight. Alright, Cyan with the final blow there for OverSwarm as Doom is down.
Okay, and it looks like GreenMonkey is starting his tower run. And I'm assuming he is going to take advantage of that skip and just move right into the switches fight.
Yeah, so third boss down for OverSwarm. GreenMonkey has to claw back at this lead a little bit here, and we'll see how he decides to do it. So pretty interesting seed so far, Joker Mage, with a couple of different paths through it, as you can see by our cast of characters there on the bottom.
I always love when that happens, because it always feels more interesting than when it's like, yeah, here is your route, hope you find it.
And even though the parties are pretty similar, they're both doing wildly different things, as OverSwarm's Celeste is using those Illuminas that he found in World of Balance to Zen, while GreenMonkey did not find those and is using Throw from his Setzer instead of a jumping Setzer.
GreenMonkey's also really depending on those ice rods and thunder rods too.
Yeah, ice and thunder rods are great because we don't get access to those two elements in this seed. So really nice heads-up play of him to buy those, and definitely a good way to blast some bosses down. And speaking of bosses, to blast away, here is Kefka. So this is the boss that we missed during our little commercial break there at the Guardian spot, and that goes away very easily for GreenMonkey. Poltergeist on the other side here for OverSwarm, and with that Paladin shield, Celeste is going to be shrugging off most of the attacks here from Poltergeist. So even though he did go down a lot of the times with the curse shield, was finally able to uncurse it towards the end, and this is where it certainly helps out your team here.
Yeah, so as soon as this fight is done...
Uh-oh. Oh. Well,
Wombat
is not something that the Paladin shield will help with, but barely survives here, and I think this will do it with these two Ultimas, unless there's a counterattack in between. And there is not!
And I don't know what we saw as far as like calmness protection on OverSwarm's slide. Did we pick up Fenrir or Golem?
I think we have Life 3 on one of our Espers floating around here somewhere. I don't know if OverSwarm got it. I know that GreenMonkey definitely has it. By the way, Falcon hit with a raid of 6 players. Thank you so much for coming in and hanging out. You joined at just the right time. We are in Kefka's tower. OverSwarm is about to step up to the plate here to face final Kefka. GreenMonkey, meanwhile, has 2 of his 4 boss gauntlet down. So he's going to have to deal with a Vanilla Doom and a French Vanilla Poltergeist.
Yeah, so even with that skip, he is still on the back foot at this point.
Not by much, but yes, he needs to get out of the menu and start fighting a boss. Their levels are about the same. mid 40s for OverSwarm, mid 40s for GreenMonkey as well.
I think OverSwarm does have an advantage with all those Illuminas.
Yeah, Genji Glove Illumina build on Celeste is a definite advantage.
In general, it feels right now like
Oh no. Unlucky RNG there for GreenMonkey getting his one actual character stopped at the start of the Poltergeist fight, so that's going to be a little bit of a time loss. Not what you need when you are a couple of bosses down.
right.
OverSwarm going to step on the switches, so let's play the final Kefka prediction game. I am going to go with a 8-minute and 19-second final Kefka. What about you, Joker Mage? And chat, feel free to chime in as well.
7 minutes even. I'll do. Like I like what OverSwarm's has for power, so I think he has some answers to a lot of questions. Because I think he's got big blue button on Realm. He's got crazy jumping guy. He's got crazy throwing guy, and then just like the lady with double Illuminas. So there's a lot of damage output there.
Also has access to mute and instant death. We are not sure about calmness protection. I know that Life 3 is around, but I don't know if OverSwarm has learned it. And again, another reset, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's great. This is really spooky for GreenMonkey's side right now. But I mean, sometimes the best calmness protection is just to YOLO it and assume your characters will figure out how to block.
Yeah. Well, Celeste with those two Illuminas, her evade is going to be ridiculously high. I think it's actually near 100 with those two Illuminas, so she could pretty much dodge almost any physical attack. So it's not her I'm worried about, it's the other three.
Yeah, and we saw like Odin or Raiden, I'm not sure which one's which, come out taking care of Long Arm. And we do have multicast, so we're going to be using. And there's another reset on GreenMonkey side. It looks like.
Yeah, he's just getting really unlucky. His first turn of Doom froze his realm, so just unbelievably poor luck here for GreenMonkey with these last two fights. But he's still in this because anything can happen in Final Kefka. Although this tier is down already for OverSwarm. A minute 15 seconds or so is all it took for him to take care of that tier.
Yeah, so for this one, you can hit. I think they have either mute or they have siren. So that comes out. You can use your Odin again, I think, to take care of tools. And then it's if you have stop, you can stop hit and then just focus down on the tiger. With tiger, if you have any ice rods, you could potentially use that. Yeah. But if you don't, I guess you just hit them with what you do have.
Yeah, which is going to be Ultima and big swords and big spears. GreenMonkey is using multi-summon with Bahamut here, so that's another tactic that he can use. It's about the same cast animation time as Ultima. Does slightly less damage, but it is also a ridiculously powerful spell.
And it's, if I'm correct, it's also considerably cheaper if you don't have an economizer.
That's absolutely correct.
Okay, so we do know magic is muted and tools got cut by Odin.
Yeah, so it looks like Life 3 is going to be our calmness protection for OverSwarm. Casting it on this tier does have to be careful because magic can use Dispel as one of his death counters and take away that Life 3. So you do have to remember to put it back on tier number 3. And that is Doom finally dead over on GreenMonkey's side, so he just has to contend with the spicy chicken. We'll see how fast he gets through that, and he's got to hurry up because OverSwarm is already in the 10 hits phase of Tier 2.
Yeah, I imagine he was going to try cast Phantom again to get another Fader out, but just didn't have time before he took out the 10. Before he took out Hit.
Alright, so one thing OverSwarm could also do for Calmness Protection is make both Edgar and Setzer jump right before, you know, the killing
Tiger's
blow.
down too.
Yeah, so only magic is left here.
And as long as you dodge that quarter, this should be fine. And even if you don't dodge the quarter, I think that they just dodged the quarter.
Yep. And Dispel going off on Celeste, so we have to remember to apply our life 3 to Celeste on the next tier. But he's already up to tier number 3. Moving through this pretty quickly, if I might add.
Yeah, like, we saw just how much power he has available to him. We saw that he has a lot of the utility, like espers and spells that you need to sort of negate some of the more nasty things the final climb can throw at you. So it's not really surprising that he's making good time. And again, GreenMonkey has just been rolling really bad luck on this Poltergeist fight.
Alright, tier 3 here for OverSwarm. Gonna reapply that life 3 to Celeste here. Gonna take this Ultima to kill Girl, essentially, and then has to blast down the other part of this.
Yeah, so not quite enough magic power to get Girl in one Ultima cast, but that second one will definitely do it. So I think Sleep is now down 15,000 HP. That's 19,000 plus whatever this does. Ooh, that's media phase.
Alright, so we will be at least eating one Meteo, and I think we can just
that was
another Ultima here.
Yeah, that was a pretty decent block there. Only Edgar got hit, and Edgar had enough to soak the damage.
Alright, so here's
Calmness.
the counter. Blocked by Celeste again, those double Illuminas coming in clutch, and it's up to final Kefka here for OverSwarm, just as GreenMonkey takes out Poltergeist.
Yeah, that was a really nasty Poltergeist fight for GreenMonkey. Like, I think 3 resets because the wrong character got stopped. But did manage to get through it in the end, and will be starting Final Kefka very shortly. OverSwarm has 2 guys in the air, and that's going to do a lot of initial damage to Kefka. You may have to watch out for some counters, but otherwise you could we could see a very fast final Kefka tier, depending on how much damage these guys do.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing at least 20,000 or so with these 2 Ultimas, and then Celeste is going to be going with the Genji Glove Illuminas here.
And how much health does Final Kefka have?
A little bit north of 60,000 HP.
We have already cleared quite a huge chunk of that, it seems.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get a Fallen 1. Here we go, right into Hyperdrive. So he's now past the Fallen 1 precipice.
Yeah, we lost Setzer, but we still have like the double ultimate casting realm here. And that's going so she's already done like 40,000 by herself.
All right, 62,000 from the chat. Thank you so much, chat, for the exact figure. And we're going to get pretty close here off this second one. Now he's got to be careful because he's in Ultima counter territory. Celeste, however, has a boatload of HP, so we'll probably be able to tank any Ultima counter that comes out from Kefka, but I think this Ultima from OverSwarm might actually just do it here. And there it is, the Boom Shakalaka.
That was like, Realm did like about 50,000 damage just on her. So, and those earlier jumps pretty much were the extra 12,000 that you needed.
Yeah, 1:23:31 is the official race time there.
And what was the final Kefka time? Were we anyone close to the correct time?
I will drag in OverSwarm. You could start off the interview, and I will give that mathematics to you. GG there, OverSwarm. Congratulations on your round 1 victory.
My very first Poltergeist win.
There it is.
I had a new strategy, and it worked.
And, would you like to go into some detail about that strategy, or is he keeping it secret in case you need it again?
Well, I don't know if I'm playing Poltergeist again. I don't know how far I'm gonna go, but I played 2 Poltergeist seeds, and 3 Poltergeist seeds. I played a test one, and then the 2 from the Warring Triads preliminary matches, and I lost all of them like handily. And with Doom, you get your offense from like the dragons and checks. That is where you get your offense. With Goddess, you get your offense from shops, and you sell armor for lots of money. You don't have to loot as much. And Poltergeist, you constantly get things that could help if you had the right stuff. Like all the time, I'd go to the Coliseum and I wouldn't have a Dragoon, or I'd get a gym box or an economizer, nothing to use it with, an offering, nothing to equip it with. And it was very frustrating. It seemed very random. And then I realized you get the cursed shield every time. You have a high chance of getting an economizer. And most of the things you get, you're not going to be able to use, so it's money. And so I kind of just angled towards Ultima, like just X magic, economizer, Ultima. Because you can give it to everybody, and it's going to do decent damage to all the statues.
Yeah, and it also looks like you kind of got a good break by finding that Lumina into Zen for sale pretty early on, so you just could channel any extra money into getting more Illuminas.
The very first thing I do on every Poltergeist seed and Goddess seed is I route in as many weapon shops as I can, and I check all of them. So like South Figaro, Zen, Narsh, Albrook, like all of those. I'll hop in Ikea if none of them have any, because your offense is like my offense other than Ultima this seed was Fire 2 and that was it. Otherwise you have to get the Dragoon set from the Coliseum, or you need to find a stronger weapon in the shop. And so I don't know what GreenMonkey had going on, but chances are he's probably got like a weak Dragoon, maybe like mid-tier magic, if he's not spamming Ultima or finding the Illuminas.
Yeah, and it looks like you also found that smoke bombs become economizers, and we're able to use that to fuel some more Illumina purchases.
Yeah, in Goddess and Poltergeist seeds, I try to buy random stuff and like loot extra, because I always stop by the Coliseum early to look for offense, and it's like a 50% success rate. But every once in a while, you see just solid gold. Smoke bomb for economizer with Umaro in your starting party, and it's a one-hit KO no matter what he does. It was beautiful.
And it looks like you tried to do a couple of quick peekable checks to see if you could find tower skip. I think the tower skip that you would have needed to find was actually the complete Magitech facility for Mog.
Really?
Yeah, so that you and GreenMonkey actually ended up finding totally different character routes after a point, because you got, I think, the Cyan pretty early.
Yeah.
Or you got Setzer early and then Cyan, and then followed that to Edgar and Sabin. Yeah. Whereas GreenMonkey did an early Magitech facility and found Mog and Shadow.
Yeah, I thought about doing Opera House early, because I love Opera House with Y remove. Like it's one of my favorite checks, because you get like the random fights and you get to like skip half the check because you don't have to walk over to the right side. But I've been burned by like the level whatever magics and like Doom Dragons and things too many times, coming in there at level 3 and needing the experience for the boss. And plus the fights go towards the Cursed Shield. And so I was like, I'll hold off. And I was really glad I did, because I got to teach people Ultima from the level 50 magics. First time I ever fought them on purpose.
Now, were you planning on doing all 4 dragons from the beginning, or was that, okay, I have a way to learn Ultima, so now I'm going to do dragons to get Ultima?
I normally save the dragons for when I get the Cursed Shield unlocked. Assuming I can unlock it. If it's like 20, I just abandon the strategy and go someplace else. But finding the Esper that gave Ultima, and finding it early, that was game breaking. So I was like, dragons it is. And I was like, we're just going to start in Narsh and we're going to go down the left side.
Yeah, because there was a lot of portions of that run where your realm was dead from trying to uncurse the shield, and I don't think you uncursed it until into Kefka's tower. Am I correct?
It was the final dragon fight before the statues.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
Yeah, I was counting, and I was like, I really hope I counted right. I really, really hope. Because, like, I knew Celeste would be fine, because we had a gym box and Economize, and she learned Ultima. I knew Realm would be fine, because she had X Magic Ultima. And then Setzer had Throw. I was like, but he's gonna die if we don't have a Paladin shield. Like, he's got a Snow Muffler, but it doesn't matter, because Poltergeist is gonna be casting Flare Star. Like Doom, he might be able to handle. Goddess is going to be like shocking him to death with whatever lightning attack she uses. I have to have the Paladin shield just for Setzer. And luckily, I actually needed it for Celeste as well.
What do I do here?
Because she unluckily got the Poltergeist. I was hoping that she would get Doom, and then she would just be able to use the fight command. But.
Yeah, and it seemed like going into the final Kefka fight, you had sort of utilities for most of the problems, but it looked like your calmness protection was a combination of Life 3 and YOLO.
So I had Phantom, and I had that equipped just in case, but the math didn't really work out for using Phantom, because my main offense was X Magic, and so she could have countered in between, or he could have. And so I was like, I can just do Life 3 on the bottom two and jump with the others. Celeste is probably going to dodge with Illumina, because she's got 2 of them. So she's got infinite magic dodge, so the only thing we have to worry about is Realm getting Calmness twice, which would be unlikely. And even if she does, she has an Illumina. So I didn't bother with Phantom.
Yeah. And in the very final fight, it looked like Realm did like 50k of the 62k. So put in like most of the work with, and I think those earlier jumps that you did in tier 3 and landed in tier 4 more or less carried the rest of the 12k that you needed.
Yeah, I like doing the early jumps when I have a decent Dragoon, because that generally puts Kefka just under the threshold for just like 5 9999 hits. And since he's single target, Ultima is going to do that just about every time if you're decent level.
Yeah. And so we do see that GreenMonkey is now in the final tier. Lost Realm, I think, either to calmness or some other damage.
Yeah, he had a real rough Meteo plus digging out of the hole plus W wind at 3/4 of his party. It was not fun. Not fun.
That's what you get for not going in with 3 Illuminas and 2 Aegis shields.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also looks like he just had a lot of really terrible luck with that one Poltergeist fight, stopping his one character that could do damage.
Yeah, I do not like I do not like gambling with the statues. I found pretty early on in these seeds, like everyone was doing just fine. 2.5 scaling seemed perfect. Like Ultras League was a little too fast. You could basically have one person with offense, but 2.5, you got to go through, but you had to take it seriously. It was great. And then you meet the statues, and it was a wall for everybody. Like, they were constantly dying. And people were throwing out, like, the strategy of doing one side of the tower so you could send your party in 2 and 2 on the other sides. And I found that you can generally plan for all 3 statues, except for in a few rare circumstances. But with Poltergeist, since you can get the Cursed Shield, I mean, unless you can't uncurse it, the Paladin Shield solves 2 of the 3 boss fights. The only one it doesn't is Doom, and that's if you get incrossed.
Yep, which is what we saw out of GreenMonkey here earlier, for sure. Yeah, so interesting that you changed up your strategy, and congratulations on your first Poltergeist win here, putting your team up 1-0 so far in the best of 3. I don't think I have any other question. Oh, my one question was going to be about, did you ever consider doing 2 Espers to get to 11 Espers for Skip, or were you hyper-focused on characters at that point?
So I would have gotten 2 Espers if I knew where the Espers were, but unfortunately they do not tell you it's an Esper. They say it's not a character. And so I could have gone and done like Realms check and then the Zen Falling House, and that would have been great. Got extra experience, extra loot, maybe some elixirs. but it could have been 2 items, and so it's not really ever worth it to go for Magicite. So I always go for characters first, and I try to leave peakables when I can. Like I left Realms early check, since it's a really good peakable. Sabin I knew had 2 peakables, so I was like, this is about as good as I'm gonna get, and I didn't want to do Waterfall or Vargas or Imperial Camp, even though that's half peakable.
GreenMonkey also finished in there, 1:34:04, so about a 10.5 minute 10.5 minute difference there. This matchup was definitely close going into KT. It just was a little unfortunate between the end crosses from Doom, the stops from Poltergeist, and then that rough T3, I think, made the difference in this particular go round. You got any other final questions, Joker?
No, it was a great match, and congratulations on the first Poltergeist victory.
Thanks. I honestly didn't think I was going to win, but I've felt that way through the entire event. I was like, oh, it looks like they misseeded me.
Well, I certainly know that I was one of the people that handed you one of your Poltergeist Fury losses, so it's good to see you get back at it and take home a W in this flag set. So good luck on the rest of the bracket round, and we'll hope to see you on the next one.
All right, thanks.
And we're joined by GreenMonkey, our other runner in tonight's race. GG's a little unfortunate there in Kefka's Tower. Talk to us a little bit about the seed and just your plans of how you went through it.
It was kind of like one of those seeds where I guess I was chasing characters by doing checks of characters I just got, but it just didn't work out that those led to characters. I think I just did too many like slow checks, like Floating Continent, MTech, 3 Mogs nonsense.
Yeah, I think that was definitely part of it, because I know OverSwarm didn't get Shadow, but also avoided Magitech Factory and didn't run into the wall that was Magimaster. And I liked your creative on the fly thinking of going, hey, I don't have to fight this boss. I'm just going to get rid of it.
We can remove walls. And so I did.
Unfortunately, this seed kind of bifurcated in terms of characters, so there's 2 sort of separate paths. One, I think, following Cyan and one following Mog. And you went and followed the Mog ones, which unfortunately had longer checks first.
Yeah, and I think it dead-ended at 6 characters, so it was like, oh crap, that means I missed something early that would have taken me on a much different journey.
And what was your basic strategy going into the Poltergeist seed?
I like Locks check for sure. Just there's egg possibility, and I just think it's really a really good check to do for free. And then buy a bunch of crappy items, head to the Coliseum, see if you can high roll something. We didn't get a lot of specific offense early, so it was a little bit of trying to piece together some offense until we got Setzer, I guess, and then we're like, oh, okay, there's our offense. But I regret I took a grind fight before I got Setzer, which was a little unfortunate.
And you made effective use of your money with buying tons of different elemental rods. Little did you know that there unfortunately were Illuminas for sale in World of Balance to Zen. So I think that might have solved some of your offensive woes with some of your characters. You can see it on the screen now. Celeste with 2 Illuminas, Realm with 1, Edgar can use 1, so...
brutal. Sometimes that's how it goes.
But it goes to show you also how powerful throwing rods at problems can be, right? You one-shot Lexel with an ice rod, you one-shot Ifrit with an ice rod. Basically, if you can't find offense, it's worth the $10,000 to go buy a rod.
Yeah, I think so. Especially like the early half of these seeds where it's it's by checks and not by character Esper Dragon, so everything starts a little behind.
Yep.
And the bosses do anyway from their health standpoint, so like they're really squishy and like rods make quick work of them. And then if you can kind of find some scrap of Bahamut and an Ultima Esper along the way or whatever.
Yeah,
You get yourself
excellent
a
heads
suit.
up use of multicast Bahamut. You know what doesn't do well against rods? Those covert madams.
Yeah,
Or no, what are they? Outsiders, right?
I thought I could. I was like, they give so much experience. Maybe I can.
Yeah. The key with that fight is those ninjas will counter everything you do with throw, so you really have to single target them. Otherwise, they're just
Oh, I
going to
didn't
wipe your
realize that.
party. They are
Yeah.
susceptible to instant death too, which I don't think we had much of other than Odin. But those are
No, there was Doom.
okay.
Yeah, someone had Doom. But yeah, I didn't realize that any of that. I guess so.
The only reason why
I
I
was
know
kind
is
of
because
I
I made
didn't take it
myself.
seriously enough. Was really what it was. I was
Yeah.
like, I should be able to rod these down. It shouldn't be a big deal.
Yep.
Not the case.
Yeah, the only reason why I know is because I made myself a cursed ROM hack where I replaced the bosses with some of those mobs, and I had to figure out how to kill them in order to get through some
yeah.
of the seeds I made.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, unfortunately, this means that your teammates will have to win out the other
Yeah.
two games in order for you to move on. So we'll keep an eye on your teammates' races. Joker, do you have any other questions for GreenMonkey while we have him here?
No, it was you did a good job. You got kind of unlucky with some of those statue fights. The stop and the X Cross
Oh,
definitely
The opener
put you
was terrible.
behind.
It was like
Tier
2
3.
stops in a row. Froze my realm first time too. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, tier 3 was also a bit of a mess too.
Oh yeah, that was another one. I was just kind of like in, I knew I had already lost, so I was kind of in a little bit of brain dead mode, and I was like, oh crap, I'm in trouble, and that's why I had to like stop and like, all right, how do I beat this?
I'm in danger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
man.
quick hit saved the day, so as it usually does.
So, thank you for volunteering to race. I didn't say this to OverSwarm, I forgot, but hopefully he's still hearing me or watching me. But thank you for volunteering to be put on the broadcast. Can't have the races without the runners, so thank you so much for doing that, even from your remote location that you are temporary.
Yeah,
in.
hopefully
So-
it wasn't. Hopefully quality wasn't too awful, but
No,
sorry
it
about
was
that.
better than it was last time. I don't know what wires you crossed or what type of
Yeah, no, that's
tin-
probably just like
what type of
whoever-
tinfoil hat you put on, or
they're probably just not watching Netflix next door. Anyway,
awesome.
yeah, thanks for streaming and all that.
All right, so we'll catch you later.
That's
Thanks
great.
again.
Yeah, see you later, guys.
All right, Joker Mage. So that is Poltergeist Fury flag set down for our two runners here. You got any other final thoughts before we get the heck out of here?
I think this is just like another great example of how you really do need to sort of figure out because this is something I think Honey brought up really early in the Warring Triads group stages, is that you really do need to be figuring out your answers to those 3 statues, because if you don't have that locked down before you go into the statue fights, it can really just hurt you. And we saw with OverSwarm, just had lots of power, could separate out the characters and make sure it had answers through the Paladin Shield and through Ultima and through all just the other tools available, that none of the statues really were a significant problem for him.
Yeah, definitely. I think our runners had the tools between all of the different things, right? We had somebody with throw, we had somebody with jump to get around Doom and Goddess, and we had Ultima to get through some of our other stuff. It's just sometimes the luck of the draw. So think that's going to do it for us here in the commentary booth. Thank you all so much for enjoying another night of Worlds Collide. We plan on doing this again sometime in the near future, and by the near future I mean tomorrow, and the next day after that, and the next day after that.
This is bracket stage, so there's the plan is to try and get as many of these matches up on the screen as possible. So even if we have to do them as VODs, try to do them live where the timing works out, but just hopefully get enough recording and then upload them when we get a chance. Because this is, what the last 6 weeks have been sort of working towards is these final sort of matches. And so we want to try and get as many of them as showcase as possible.
Yeah, so it looks like tomorrow, this channel, 7 p.m. Eastern, will be Ceiling Cat versus PB&J Please. We already have a restreamer assigned for that one, so we're definitely going to be able to get that one in for you. Then on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern on Speed Gaming, we'll be able to get that one for you. It's Scarcerer versus Organ Dude. And then I believe we're going to be doing a multi-world restream on Wednesday, so something a little bit different, sort of a palate cleanser, if you will. But we are going to try and make sure that we have our ducks in a row for our multi-thon here. So.
Yeah, and part of that was moving the usual Wednesday speed gaming to Thursday.
That is correct, yes. So, but yeah, so that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much, Joker Mage, for helping me with commentary, and we'll catch you all on the next time. See you later. Peace out now.